Welcome to Love Capsule, the confessions you won't find anywhere else.
Here, we're going to talk honestly about love, seduction, breakups, and sometimes about what makes your heart beat a little too fast.
We wanted to create a little space, kind of like a small bubble where you'd feel safe to have all kinds of conversations, even the ones that are a bit awkward to have with friends. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We'll share our experiences, our disappointments, and our adventures.
So, if you want to dive into this world with us, to laugh, to cry, and maybe even see yourself in everything we're talking about, well, you're in the right place.
Regularly, we'll welcome friends, guests, very special people who will have lots of stories to tell us. So if you're ready to listen to our stories, get comfortable, put on your headphones, and welcome to Love Capsule. Sweetheart, we're going to do this from the rooftops. We're going to introduce you to our viewers. Tell me who you are.
Well, listen, you know who I am. You got me again. So, my name is Anais. I'm 33 years old. I'm a business owner. I have several companies in the pastry industry. So basically, I make people gain weight. That's a bit about me, and you, not so much.
I'm doing fine. I resist your cakes.
You resist, but that's because you're in a completely different world on your side.
Exactly. Well, I'm Stan. I'm 33 years old. I took part in this show called Love is Blind France, where I had the chance to meet this wonderful young woman. I'm more into sports. And at the time this was filmed, I was a veterinary clinic manager. Now we've decided to start a love podcast where we're going to open up, share our story with you, and invite people who have a lot to say.
So we're going to have to be vulnerable again, like in the episodes. That's going to be pretty funny.
I have a question for you. How did this whole journey go for you to begin with? Why did you agree to do this show?
That's a good question. I think in my case, I actually sought out this show. I put my entire personal life aside for years so I could do what I needed to do professionally. I experienced a lot of disappointment, really a lot, and at some point I thought, well, it's nice. It's someone coming into my life. Actually, I was meant for a completely different show.
That's what I was going to say. You were contacted for.
For another show, for a completely different show, kind of the same type of blind dating. And unfortunately, the person it was supposed to happen with cancelled the experience at the last minute. So I went through a roller coaster. It was months of casting where I had prepared myself. I was going to get married to someone, so I had kind of gotten ready. Up until the disappointment when I was told that the person in the end was stopping the experience on their side, and then 2 months later they called me back to ask, "Do you still want to get married?" I said yes, and they told me, "We have something else for you." And they were just as desperate as I was. They really wanted to get someone married, I think, the casting team. And so I ended up taking part in the whole process, actually, the entire casting process for Love is Blind, which was very different,
But
just as exciting. And what about you on your side?
well, listen, I had no knowledge of that show. I wasn't into reality TV at all, to be honest. I was very happy in my love life before, but I was looking for the right person, meaning I needed someone who could understand me, support me, and above all, adapt to my lifestyle. So I wasn't actively looking for any opportunities at all. When I received the first call to do this particular show, I was actually at my parents' comfortable place. They specifically called me and thoroughly explained the entire concept of the project to me. And so they start telling me, okay, you're going to be locked in. You might potentially get married without seeing the person and all that. And I said, yeah, that could be really cool, really cool, really cool. So we set up an appointment for 24 hours later. I do what I have to do that evening. I'm with some friends. We decide to go out for a drink. And I completely forget that I have this famous phone appointment. So yeah, we party and all that. The next morning, I wake up and I remember, oh, right, I have to make a phone call. So basically, what I'm saying is that I was absolutely not prepared for this. In the end, the appointment went well. Afterwards, there was a whole process, which we can't really talk about here. But following all that, we ended up having this experience.
So you said you were with friends that night. How did your close ones take it? Because you need to have a bit of craziness, which all 30 participants had, as we all know. You have to be a little bit crazy to go and do this kind of experience.
Yeah, actually, when I told my friends, one of them said, I'm out. I'm glued to the TV. My girlfriend never misses this show. Maybe it's something crazy and all that. So he already told me, he said, hey, dude, that would be incredible if you did that. I'm totally backing you and everything. And so we didn't have time to talk about it or watch the episodes before my appointment. So I went to that interview, and obviously, without knowing anything at all about the show, bravo. Not prepared at all, but it actually went well, just for the story. It goes even further. I'm really going to tell you everything. I get up, I mess with people, and so on. I forget I have an appointment. It's the middle of summer. I dive into the pool to get my hair wet. I still have my black henna on my hand. I remember I had a little shirt on. I did my hair really quickly. I turned on the camera. I thought it would last 10 minutes. The thing ended up lasting 2 hours. So without having slept, being in that state, but in the end, it went really well. So yeah, the story's pretty funny. But afterwards, so yeah, my friends told me, okay, we're going to watch it. And that's when I realized what it was about, meaning I looked and said, oh, wow, they're in pods, but they can't see the other person and this and that and everything, but they're really getting married. And then after that, they spend a week where they meet for the first time. And then they spend 4 weeks in an apartment. So yeah, this show was just crazy. So actually, I really understood what it was all about right after my first date.
Yeah, you had never seen any of the episodes? You said, let's go, but didn't know what you were getting into. Older people were there and I followed along. I was so excited when they told me you had never seen it.
And so yeah, just for that, we talked about my friends. At first, I don't think my family really understood what it was all about. I think they're from a generation where reality TV is really considered pretty lowbrow. They didn't really understand the situation. And for them, marriage is something sacred. It's rooted in traditional values. Well, getting married after 4 or 6 weeks is just completely crazy. So yeah, they weren't really connected to it. Well, since then, things have changed a bit, but it took more time. And you then, how did your family react?
Well, for me, if you want, my family just went through a roller coaster of emotions. So in 6 months, I had to tell them a few months before I took part in another show. My mother started crying and told me she was going to change our family name just to give you an idea. So my mother took it really badly at first, but kind of like yours did. In the end, reality TV does. Actually, they had a hard time separating the experience from reality TV. There's still a big difference between doing an experience like this and going on a show like Les Anges de la Télé-Réalité. They're really two completely different things. So she had a really hard time understanding, and my father even more so. I think it was the first time my father said, I don't support you in one of your projects. My brother, on the other hand, laughed a lot and said to me, seriously, you're going to make me do everything possible in life. Then I had to announce that I didn't get married after all. So in the end, my mother was disappointed. It's really funny. She was disappointed because she thought, that's it, finally, there will be someone at family dinners. She'll stop coming alone. And then I told her that actually, it's even worse. It's a bit bigger. The concept is a little different. I'm leaving for a bit longer than a week, and so on. And so I plunged her back into an emotional wave of, again? Are you sure? Am I really going to go through this a second time? So in the end, they accepted the idea. I think they knew about my romantic despair. They thought, there aren't many options left for her, let's move forward. And my friends, not surprised by this craziness that has defined me since they've known me. They thought it was exactly the kind of crazy thing I might do. And then my best friend thought, cool, finally, I'll get to be a witness. It's about time. So no, they actually took it pretty well. I'm lucky.
You know, it almost came down to us being together at their place.
Why?
Because just before, like the offer to do the voice blind auditions, I got a call asking me to be a tempter on Temptation Island.
It would have been good to go see what that's like if you're a friend.
You held back, yeah, the common areas are good. If I present that,
You're with me, but I admit, I understand. It would have been really, really good for you to go.
yeah, I have another story, but I won't tell it here. For another show, it was really funny.
You're to say, I don't know it.
But really?
Are you sure?
Yes, really.
Are you sure?
Who's going to marry my son?
Are you calling him for me now?
Really?
Really?
All right, then. I'll tell you the story live.
You said you want to be on every TV show.
Exactly. But that has nothing to do with it. That was 3 months ago, or maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Someone calls me, contacts me on social media saying, I'd like to offer who's going to marry my son. And I say, all right, and all that. No, 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 but
You probably have.
just you.
You probably have.
You probably have, what can we say? But I thought to myself, on the other hand, because they had tried to change the concept, they had said to include 3 heterosexual couples and 1 homosexual couple. And she tells me, well, it's for the homosexual couple. And then I say, okay. I say, well, that's nice. But you see, I'm a lover of women. So there you go. It's not, well, and she says to me, but are you sure? I say, well, yes, of course. I've been sure of myself and my sexuality for 33 years. She says to me, because I saw you in a photo. I saw you in a photo in a club. Or it's a club where there are parties, actually. At least that's what I say, well, yes, but that's because we were going out to party, because we have friends who hang out in clubs, etc. Maybe these are clubs that are, for the LGBT community, but there are straight people. There are, we're totally tolerant here. So there you go. I said, it was just for that. So that's it. Is that I was offered this before I met you, darling? Did I do the right thing?
I'm very, very happy you didn't go. You would have had a little problem for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I love it.
Okay. And
I was wondering, for me, there aren't all the steps of the casting, the process, etc., but it really left a mark on me because it's still super intense because you think to yourself, but, well, a few days before leaving, you think, wow, am I making the right choice? Like, am I really about to get on a plane to go marry someone I don't even know? What were you thinking when you were at the airport right before getting on the plane to go to the shoot?
without revealing any secrets of the show, of course. But you do think, okay, am I the only one getting on this plane? Are the other contestants here my competitors or the other guys who are my friends? And actually, in this case, they really are friends. Are my 14 other buddies here? Are the girls here? I was asking myself that, so I was kind of looking around like, are there any cute girls and all that, you know? I remember when I arrived at that airport, I saw this Asian guy show up, good looking, macho, well built, you know, kind of looking to the right, looking to the left, all that. I said to myself, that guy for sure, he's part of the thing. Of course, it was Valmy who's really a great friend. That's how I noticed Andy. I noticed him. He also told me he's 1.85 meters tall. He's more ripped than ever. You can't miss him. I noticed the more athletic types. As for the others, I didn't really get that feeling where I thought, that's it. And just so you know, we took this plane and all that. So obviously we weren't sitting anywhere near each other. And then at the airport, something happened that I won't go into. And actually, we had a limited number of bags we were allowed to bring. And at that point, you think, well, you see these guys, they've got their trolleys like this. And I tell them, he's got the same number of bags as me. And him, oh, damn, him for sure. That's the case. And actually, that's how we recognized each other. At the airport, we arrived and we recognized the guys who had bags, gear, and everything, because you have to know that you need a lot of clothes and a lot of stuff for this kind of adventure. We
You were leaving for a long time.
for a long time, really. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically how it was. Actually, I was guessing who was doing what, you know. And
So, Edmund, what about you? It's cool to have seen the different parts, but I was saying that you like meeting me.
well, actually, I didn't really grasp the situation.
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't realize what was going on until I set foot in the capsule. And we'll come back to it. We have so much to talk about. We've spent hours discussing it together. We relived that amazing experience. I'll keep those memories for life. And thank you for all those wonderful moments, darling. So, I actually didn't realize it at the time, but I think I'm not the only one. I think a lot of the guys, like I said, we're friends. We started out, the only people we had contact with were each other. So there was this kind of solidarity that developed. We laughed, we joked around. It was a social experiment. And so a sense of cohesion was born. So at the very beginning, I truly think that I was embarking on an exciting adventure with friends, a sense of cohesion, of friendship, you know, like a schoolyard. Yeah, kind of like a schoolyard, but really, really cool. We met some amazing guys, people with fantastic backgrounds with whom you could talk about anything from all walks of life. There were different cultures. It was really a melting pot of all that. And it was super interesting. And my adventure happened in two phases, that phase there. And the first step at Jamie, setting foot in the capsule, was a whole different adventure. I talked a lot. But what about you, really? How did it go then? So, how did you announce it? What were your reactions? Was there any family? Were there any friends? What were you feeling? I know I have too many questions, but you see, it's. Go ahead, tell me everything.
Listen, they told me about it here. I was in my office upstairs, I was working. I see the number from the casting agency calling me, and they say, I hope your bags are packed. You're leaving in a few days, and so on. And it's a mix between excitement of, but it's incredible, we're going to experience something amazing. I'm probably going to meet the man of my life. And at the same time, telling yourself, wow, now I have to leave my company for 2 months. Is it not going to sync without contact with the partners and so on? And then, by the way, explaining without really explaining to your employees why you won't be there. And it's about finding excuses and so on. So in the end, it was a mix of, it's amazing. But wow, I have so many things to prepare in an especially short amount of time. I have to set everything up.
I just forgot that I had to keep it a secret.
Yes, yes.
And yes, it's true that for you, with all the people you manage, all your businesses, well, let's be honest, you are the central pillar of the company, of all of this. I see you every day. And honestly, I'm kind of amazed. What would you have told him?
So, my brother, obviously, the close associates, I had to tell them because it is impossible to hide from them. But sending them, I went offline. Let's get a grip on nature. Withdrawal.
Spiritual? Overestimated?
But even because you don't realize it, even social networks.
Me?
I already had a large community where I was extremely active on social media. How do you explain to people that for several weeks you completely disappear? Like, people are going to worry. So I actually posted a story saying I was going on a phone detox. People were like, oh, that's amazing. You'll have to tell us what it's like. I was thinking, I'll tell you. So yeah, it was pretty funny. But me, you see, unlike myself, well, at the airport, of course, I checked a bit to see who I could spot. I also saw quite a few of my current girlfriends. But I started telling myself, okay, now you're getting back into it though. You're really getting into the thick of it between the excitement and telling yourself, well, I really hope this is a good choice, because I'm putting a lot on the line for the experience. I hope it's going to go well. And then we arrived at the hotel, but for me, it was the first time I set foot in the lounge. I was the first one to go in because there are photo shoots, all that stuff. And I was the first to walk into the lounge, and I thought to myself, wow, this is just like what I watch on Netflix. It's really weird. We're actually here. And it was on those days that I really realized we were living the experience, but I think it showed. But when I got into the capsule, I brought so much energy. I was so happy to be there, like, this is incredible. But, well, I don't know how you felt. The first time you heard the first voice, really, I don't know. Who did you talk to first? My first was Ludivine. Ludivine, that's what they told me. But the first time you go into the capsule and hear a voice, it's... So go ahead, tell me, what did you feel?
Me, my heart was beating a mile a minute.
Oh, yeah?
Honestly, I'm not a guy who gets stressed or feels pressure. I wouldn't say I was stressed, but there was a bit of excitement mixed with, I don't know, maybe a sense of awe. I open the door, I go in, and you should know there's a certain smell in those capsules. It's true, it's incredible. There's a smell in those capsules. It's cozy, it's great, and so on. Well, you have to ignore the camera setup and all that, but honestly, you're really in an atmosphere where you feel good. You feel good. And what reassured me was that the person in front of me, it was their first date too, so actually we're discovering each other. We're getting to know each other and start talking, we get comfortable and so on. So I've had quite a few dates, but obviously yours was incredible. I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, we can both say that. We clicked really, really quickly. We had an amazing connection. And I'll always remember your voice.
Oh, really?
Yes, your voice. Sometimes I have fun when you talk. Closing my eyes, just listening, it takes me right back to the beginning.
But don't you remember when we got out of the experience and we were at home, like that first night? It was really weird. And so you don't have any light, you just hear them talking? Oh, yeah, that's true. It's strange. I feel like I'm back in the capsules.
That's true, that's true.
It really was pretty crazy. That was the first night we spent together like that in the dark.
Yeah, it really was incredible.
I remember it. You were my last meeting, you closed out my day.
That's true. Plus, I was lucky because usually after a whole day talking to people, we're exhausted. So I think I was lucky to still be able to focus at that moment.
I wasn't tired at all. I could have kept going.
But it's
Don't worry.
8 hours of dates. 8 hours.
Of dates, I can handle it. I actually enjoy it.
Especially since you had prepared for them. I remember, should we talk right now about your lists of... No,
No, I'll just go ahead. 2 minutes, that's it. I'll see. I don't know, it's with me.
see,
He is gone.
I didn't know what. Go ahead, show us. You even took your notebook. Oh la 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 la.
Yeah, he loves you, right?
So this is your notebook, HR. It's not the... Oh no, this is my official notebook. It's
My official notebook. Relax, I had put photos of my loved ones and everything in it. I told myself I'm going to miss them so much.
incredible.
I swear I have everything in there. But I think did I take it or not? I have my HR notebook.
And you see, that's what I have to deal with, okay? First interview, second interview in total.
Plus, look.
On top of that, I had to go through a total of 8 interviews before I was finally approved still.
But at the same time, I told myself I'm going to get married. It's a matter of progress management, you see? But because every day I'm too emotional, I let my emotions take over too much, and it's never worked out for me. So this time I told myself I'm going to do something different. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to do something super structured. And the guy, he has to fit into the boxes.
You
See, because if you didn't fit into the boxes, you'd have me marry someone who doesn't share any of those values. And we have a lot. I think there are, I don't know if we have a question, but there are going to be 100 of them. And you haven't answered all of them. We'll come back to it later, you see.
Do you have the line beyond, or is there something I didn't answer?
So
Because on top of that, you're going to know the answer.
there's one, I don't know, it's how do you feel about the idea of getting into a serious relationship again? I just put a heart, so I guess that says it all.
And he answered, well, that's right, that's right.
Go ahead, in your opinion, what are the foundations of a healthy and happy relationship? It's weird that I haven't asked you this question, especially since it's so important.
Communication, for starters. I'm lucky to be able to communicate very well with you. Your sense of humor is a bit surprising, but hey, that's not a big deal.
This one is worrying, it's serious.
What do you mean? Little attitude?
Well, actually, there are a lot of questions. Wait, there are a lot of questions you've asked me. I think you said,
Write that down in the notebook, in my opinion. It's so you don't have to repeat yourself twice, I'm sure of it.
do you think so?
Yes.
At the same time, I have 25 pages about you too, so. But anyway, yeah, I approached it like an HR project. I have notes on everyone. You guys aren't ready. I could give you way too much info. Of course, I won't share them. But I thought it was super important. I know you didn't take a lot of notes.
No, that's a myth. It's a myth, actually. It's a myth?
Are you sure about that?
Almost.
No, I don't think so. No. Because let me remind you, there was this little date we had where at one point we did some activities, some games, and it reminds you of that mini golf moment.
I remember it very well. I had an amazing little moment.
And actually, the guy was playing mini golf. So I was busy filling out my HR questionnaire to make sure he matched everything I was looking for. And I didn't even realize after half an hour I was thinking, what is he doing? I was hearing these weird noises and everything. And I said to him, what are you doing? And he said to me, I'm playing golf. Why? I don't know. I'm just trying to see if you're my husband, actually.
That's because I was already sure.
Yeah, we were sure. Pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's true that to go back to that episode with the capsules, besides the fact that emotions are heightened and we've been cut off from the world for several days, you get attached to someone very quickly. And obviously, we got attached to each other really, really fast. You really bear yourself, you discover each other. There's also the mental projection. That is to say, when you were talking to me, I wasn't picturing someone else. I was trying not to. The only thing that didn't match what I had imagined, I remember suspecting that you were very pretty. I'm talking. Yes. Except for your wooden leg, of course. But that's an inside joke. But above all, there were differences. I thought you were shorter.
That's true.
But aside from that, we'll talk about it later. But between the proposal, waking up, the moment I saw you, and so on, there were wild emotions that swept over us.
I tried to make you believe I wasn't young. We weren't allowed to give each other any physical criteria. And the only things I told you, it's a shame. There are a lot of gorgeous people here, but I don't count myself among them.
She tells me, there are a lot of gorgeous people here. I don't count myself among them. She tells me I'm not a stunner. Well, we'll see. I'm not very athletic.
That's not true. Just so you know, I used to be athletic. It's just that I got injured and couldn't do sports anymore.
That's it. So I thought to myself, well, she must be funny.
But by the way, what was it that made... Because as a result, both of us very quickly said that we didn't want to move forward with anyone else and that we wanted to move forward together. What happened that made you say, she's the one?
First of all, there are things you just can't explain. That is the energy you feel from the other person. There's something about it, the voice. When you talk, you smile. You already knew you had a beautiful smile. That very special atmosphere, a warm voice. There's something that reassures us. I don't know. There was something that stuck with you more than with the others from the start. Then when we started talking, that is, we use the same words for a lot of things, for many, many, many things. You have to know that you are a woman in a company that has a lot of people, a lot of men who have reached out to you on social media, etc. You need someone who can understand that, who can accept it, who doesn't have a problem with it. Precisely. Someone who isn't afraid, who doesn't have excessive jealousy. You need a certain type of man. And I saw myself in that type. I also recognized you in that as well. That's why I thought it could work. What he's offering me, it suits me. There were a lot of things. Unfortunately, you can't see that on screen. We had so many moments where we sat down and talked about the situation, about the fact that, as I keep saying, you manage people, you have a certain status. In a relationship, if the woman has a more prominent status than the man, could that be a problem? Is it yes? Is it no? We saw it especially in the episodes with Tiana, with Yannick, with us. I need the man, that's just how it is. And this experience is made for that anyway. We come in with our our expectations, our ambitions, our desires. And so you have to manage to find the person who really fits into all that. So I saw myself in that. Then I recognized you in what I heard from a woman. That is to say, I need a woman who is calm, who isn't consumed by jealousy, who needs to have the strength to handle having a girlfriend who is rather cute, pretty nice, and easily approachable. All while having exemplary behavior, of course, which is appreciated. But that's kind of the thing. And so I thought to myself, yeah, it's a bit clingy. It's a bit clingy very quickly. For example, I remember talking with Sabrina, and Sabrina said to me, I don't remember exactly, basically, do you work with girls and all that? Yeah, okay. Well, what's your behavior, etc. And I realized that if we were together, it would be complicated. Because you see, she needs a different kind of man. She needs to be reassured and all that. Yet she's an incredible woman. She's a woman with tremendous class. So you see, there's really nothing to discuss. But anyway, that's how it is. We only rely on what's said.
Yeah, but what's crazy is that we saw all of that very quickly in the end.
Yes, that's true.
We saw it in a really, really short time.
But we could have also been fooled. Because you and I, we very quickly said to ourselves, okay, this is analysis, this is stand, it doesn't change. But since we said that to each other so quickly and then had a lot of meetings afterwards, and we kind of isolated ourselves from the others in the end because you and I decided to stick together and, well, the others are nice, but it'll be stand and analysis. We could have gotten trapped, meaning that after several days, damn, that's a big red flag right there. Oh shit, this isn't going to work.
And
I didn't think about that. I told myself, I know it's her.
but I think we had already covered a lot of really important topics very quickly. And I think that all our shared values, we saw them very quickly. Right from the first meetings, we asked the important questions. Hence the HR questionnaire, obviously. It's
true that you anticipated things, meaning you knew where you were going.
but I knew what wouldn't work for me. And so the more we talked, the more I saw that you fit exactly indeed into what I wanted in my life.
It wasn't anything.
Very stable. I think I absolutely loved everyone. There are no issues, but I think that's what stood out the most about you and very quickly. It's the emotional stability, the emotional intelligence that you were able to show. And the fact that you could be a real support in life and that I didn't need to save you from anything. That was incredibly pleasant.
That was cool.
Were you about to say something?
No, to go back to those capsules, we don't have anything physical. We don't have that. We cling to what we feel. And for example, some contestants, some guys who see things differently than I do, if you tell them that you're someone who has won major awards or things like that, right away I saw some of them pull back a little. And so actually, that's precisely why I had someone right in front of me, someone who truly and completely matched me in every way.
It's
True. It's
true.
uh,
A year later now, we weren't too wrong about that.
I have a little question for you. Do I have any coffee left? Because actually, this morning I was out of coffee. What the hell is this?
There you go.
Thanks. You took the one with a bit of vanilla. Well, more importantly, how did you feel? I asked you about that, actually.
Well, I was so a mix of excitement of, wow, it's actually happening. I've been telling myself for years that it would happen. I didn't imagine it would be in front of a wall. It's real. A bit unsettling, super stressed, but actually I was so full of emotion. I think that's the only moment in the experience when someone must have seen a tear run down my face. It was at that moment. I was shaking, I remember, and when I came out, girls, I made it. I couldn't do it. I cried. It's just that I cried with the water and everything. And they asked me, but what did he say to you? And then I said, I don't remember anymore.
So you must have struggled to write a text.
Actually, I was so caught up in this huge wave of emotion. I was like, oh my God, this is really happening. This man who is perfect for me in every way is really asking me to marry him. I just said yes to him. So now we're going to meet. Tomorrow we're meeting. It was so intense emotionally. I think it was the most intense moment I've ever experienced. It's true, it really is. Our whole experience was pretty chill, in quotes, in the sense that you and I felt secure with each other very quickly. You made me feel emotionally safe. No one has ever made me feel that emotionally secure before, with the little notes you gave me and things like that. So that moment was so out of sync emotionally with everything else that I just couldn't handle it. I think I was really in emotional shock. I remember during the interview they asked me, so what did he say to you? What did he say to you? Probably something beautiful, I think, but I barely remember. And what about you? Because it's not every day. Well, it had already happened to you before, but it's not every day that you propose to a woman.
That's for sure. But actually, you have to realize that people are going to think about it because obviously, in that role, you have to make a real proposal.
It has to.
You told me, you better not make me a crappy proposal. And at that point, I thought, okay, I'm going to have to say more than just 4 words, all right? And actually, as time goes on, we start thinking about it, even if we don't want to reveal all the secrets of the thing. But it's a social experiment where basically outside interactions are forbidden, no phone, etc. So we're really focused on that. And I think that also amplifies the feelings, the expectations, the fears. It amplifies a lot of things. So at that moment, I come home in the evening and I tell myself, all right, I need to do something nice because she deserves it and because she has to say yes, even though I didn't have much doubt, but still.
That's really all it is.
Exactly. So I start writing. And I write a first draft and all that. And, sometimes I like things to be well done. And I keep telling myself, no, that's not right. That's not right. There's not enough personality. There's not enough. Something was missing.
No GPT back then.
There was no GPT if you're listening to me. So yeah, no GPT. So I had to start writing something that made sense. And then, inspiration doesn't come one sentence, 2 sentences, 3 sentences, 4 sentences, and so on. And actually, I realize I'm coming up with something that's pretty solid, pretty good. I think maybe you'll hear it one day, but I don't want to reveal anything. And you'll be able to judge for yourselves, okay? You can judge. Was it nice? Would you have liked to get a proposal like that? Because unfortunately you won't get to experience it. We're sorry about that, but maybe you'll get to listen to it. So I start writing all of this. And actually, I feel like some things are really coming together. I really want to convey a certain emotion, and I find it in there. So there you go. And well, that's it. By midnight, by 2 in the morning, it's written. I've got my thing, and so on. I need to sleep. So I put it down and try to sleep. Yeah, right. I don't really sleep. I'm a bit stressed, a bit anxious, and all that. Anyway, the next day comes the big day. I can't really give you a timeline. I can't give you details, but you should know that, well, they tell me it's your turn. You are the first one. Okay, it's my turn and all that. Fine. So I take this paper and I reread it. I don't know, maybe 50 times, because I want it to be perfect, because I don't want to mess up a single word. I want you to think, damn, he did that well, So I start rereading this thing over and over, and I really soak it in, And then at some point I feel something, I say to myself, and damn, that's it. I'm ready. I'm good. I'm ready. And then it's my turn and all. So I go into the capsule and I stand there in front. I feel the tension rising and everything. It was long, huh? It was long? Yeah, it was long. So I go into the capsule, and since we've been there for days before, there's this kind of security. You go into a place a smell that calms you. You've had great moments in this capsule, so you're in a safe place. So I settle in and all that, and we talk a bit. And I remember I ask you to stand up.
I would like to ask you a very important question just for a moment, if I may.
Give me.
I thought, my God, this is it.
And so I begin my performance and all that. And at the precise moment when I gracefully get down on both of my knees, I then proceed to deliver 4 truly beautiful and profoundly meaningful sentences. And after that, I patiently wait for your much anticipated answer.
You didn't wait as soon as I was barely finished. Yeah, you really, 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 really didn't wait.
I
I had been waiting for this proposal for several days, so my answer was obvious. I tried to tell you, I remember because I had written a few lines, but I couldn't say them to you. I was just like that, lying there, reading what I was supposed to read. I thought, poor guy, he just did something perfect, and here I am, unable to speak. I don't know about you, but for me, it was just incredibly emotional.
remember.
But your proposal was beautiful, and now that I've had the chance to hear it again, I know it was perfect in every way.
Yeah, it was a wonderful memory.
It was
Cool. That's truly fantastic. And then finally came the big reveal.
whoa.
How did it go though?
The reveal, I think, even though I've done a lot of stressful things in my life, I've done surgeries, I've done things way more stressful in the world, but that moment when you're in the room, I was more stressed than I've ever been, I think. But I wasn't afraid you'd hurt me. I was afraid you wouldn't like me. I was afraid I'd see disappointment in your eyes. Or after all the times I said I was ugly, it could only go down from there, but that's a marketing strategy now. I remember my stomach hurt so much.
I had my hand on my stomach the whole time, and I kept thinking, this isn't going well, this isn't going well. At one point, I realized there was no one else around me, and I thought, oh my God, this is it. And you stand in front of that door, and you see your shadow on the door, and you think, I know this moment. I see it on Netflix. It's about to open. It's about to open. This isn't going well. And on top of that, my door opened before yours. I remember that. So I saw you, and I felt such relief when I saw you. I thought, wow, and I was sweating so much, but it was really well chosen, honestly, the wave. But when I got to you, I was shaking like crazy. Well, you remember.
I remember holding hands.
And so,
Then you talked a little, and then not for long.
Not for long.
I
Not for long, but after that I was in such a state of stress. You played it well, I told you again.
What exactly are you doing? Well, I was asking you for the picture, actually.
I think the level of stress was just that high.
But-
But after, the moment was wonderful, though it's true that it's a moment where actually the whole adventure comes crashing down at once because you tell yourself everything's fine. I've chosen the person who matches me mentally, and on top of that, by some miracle, it's exactly what I was looking for physically. So, there was a mix of all that, and the moment is both short and at the same time very long, because you don't really know what to say to each other. You're trying to match a physical presence to a voice. And that's really complicated when you haven't seen the person for so long, etc. So that moment was still quite special, and I didn't want it to end. And at the same time, I was telling myself, don't let it end, because at one point we were wondering if we were even alive, if I had really found her alive,
How did you
experience it yourself?
Well, actually, at that moment, it's still all a blur. For us, there's the pressure of the proposal in the pod, but then you have to know that now you have to do a physical proposal again. So I'm in this little waiting area just a few minutes before the famous reveal, and I have the ring, and I'm thinking, okay, now I have to do it. I have to propose, and I have to do it right. That means I have to get past the stress, and, well, there are things we have to do, like, how is it going to go? I have to get down on one knee. I have to say the words. Imagine, I thought, maybe I don't love her. Maybe she's going to say no, because that's possible too. It's possible. After getting down on one knee, the phase where you found me fantastic in the pods, you said yes. But now, you see, it's not my style at all. There's no way the real thing, well, it's fantastic. You said yes. But actually, there you go. A lot of pressure. Honestly, a lot of pressure. And I was stressed. But then, how do I do it? Where do I stand? I position myself in front of that famous door, and the light comes on behind you, and you see yourself in it. Yeah. So that door opens. I see you in your absolutely wonderful red dress, so classy, such elegance. I mean, really, really. And I'm there, and so I walk toward you, but I think I'm about to freeze. I'm telling myself, damn, I have to move forward. So I go, I walk, we meet in the middle, and then I touch you for the first time, an insane feeling. But I feel you trembling a bit, And so I look into your eyes, they're brown, absolutely wonderful. And I think to myself, I'm so lucky. I made a great choice, such incredible beauty. So I look at you, and then I think, damn, I have to kiss her. So I kiss you. Honestly, it's a shame we don't have the footage to show you. It's a shame we couldn't have access to all that. I think it would have been really cool, at least for us. And it was such a sincere moment. So it would have been great. So then I get down on one knee. I take out the ring. I propose again. You say yes. I see myself putting the ring on your finger and standing up. And then, a really funny anecdote. We're both there. She's got the ring on her finger. And we head over to a couch to sit down. And then we start whispering to each other.
already whispering isn't good, but as soon as we got there, we were whispering. That's all we did. I didn't have a mic on at all on my finger.
There are indeed 150 cameras, and we're all like, yeah, we're absolutely fine, right?
It was super intense. The moment was way too stressful. It was kind of a void. Well, I mean, we could see people around us, so of course we started whispering. We were like, why are we whispering? But it was really funny.
It was incredible. It
Is really truly quite funny, but I still genuinely think the absolute funniest and most amusing thing about this entire event is
Yes.
So yes, that's true.
The exquisite truffle is just so incredibly good. Truly a delightful experience.
No, it was way too cute. After that, we kept kissing. We spent 80% of the time doing that.
Yeah, it's really cool to see those images. It must have.
Beautiful.
So, how did it go when you came back into the living room after that, actually? Because, well, we were the first ones that night. So, what happened?
After the initial proposal, after the submitted,
After the wake up.
After the wake up, well, I went straight to talk about the fact that I was engaged in an interview, I remember. But yeah, I think I was just In fact, from the moment of the proposal, I stayed in this emotional shock where I kept thinking, wow, right up to the end, this whole thing is just incredible. Like, this man is perfect in every way. I am insanely lucky. And so when people would ask me, actually, there were questions that threw me off because people kept asking if I was in love, and I couldn't say yes to that question because I had so many feelings for you. But to say I loved you when in the end we hadn't talked for that long, and despite everything we'd been through, I just couldn't do it. So it put pressure on me. I kept thinking, I have to say yes, I have to say yes, but I just couldn't say yes, etc. So I had this kind of pressure. And at the same time, I was happy. So there were just too many feelings all mixed together, but it was okay. But I kept thinking, don't you think he's handsome? He's the most handsome guy I've ever seen. I'm crazy about him. It's incredible. Honestly, I was in this emotional shock, in a whirlwind, telling myself, try to realize this is real. Like, you just got engaged. It's totally surreal. But I think it was super hard to tell yourself what was happening. It was so beautiful that it was hard to believe it was real. And I was 20, I was saying, in a forest. Wow, I was looking at the ring. I was so happy. But there was also this come down from the whole experience, all the pressure you'd felt. And then the wake up was still a particularly stressful moment. And I think the whole come down and the relief, I was kind of like, wow, I'm stoned, I'm happy, 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 I'm happy. And
You,
how were you then afterwards?
well, super excited. And then, so there are two moments. There's the moment when I proposed to you, when we were in the capsules, and I remember coming back and all my friends were waiting for me, picking me up, making me jump and everything. That was just a crazy moment, such an amazing memory. And then to get back to the reveal, well, yeah, I did an interview right after, and they asked me, so did she say yes? How is she? Was it what you expected? And all that. You get bombarded with questions, and you're in the middle of the forest. So, yeah, it was incredible. And above all, it was a relief because when you propose, when you do something like that, you have to make sure it goes well. Honestly, it's a big deal. It's a real adventure. It's authentic, meaning it's not scripted, it's not staged. If you mess up, you mess up, man. So yeah, it all went really well. Everything was perfect, so I was really happy.
I have a question.
I
I haven't asked you this.
okay.
In the interview, they must have asked you if you were in love. What did you say?
I answered that. Actually, yes, we think the same way.
Right?
We're aligned on things, and I said, in love? No, because.
Well then. All right.
But on the other hand, she's fantastic. I remember before I used 8 different adjectives to describe her, saying,
Four.
really, truly, absolutely bad losers. Indeed, I mean,
Are you perhaps the bad loser in this situation, or is it someone else entirely?
we'll play the game and see. Just so you know, she hasn't won a single game in a year of our relationship. There. I'm saying it on camera. She's never won a game of.
I've won some battles.
Sure, but not any actual games.
Battles, but as soon as I win a battle, he says, no, that doesn't count.
Not true, never in my life.
That's actually quite interesting.
Out.
All right, enough.
So yeah, that's how it is. I said you were exactly what I expected. I was lucky. In terms of our connection, our desires, even physically. So honestly, I was really lucky, very lucky, and I was glad I chose you, on the other hand.
Yeah, we were both lucky.
But
Something a little less lucky.
you,
How did you feel when they told you we weren't leaving, that the experience was over?
well, it was a mix of a lot of things.
Oh.
There are just too many things. There's a lot to put into words at that moment. I mean, when I was first told about doing this experience, like I'm talking 4 to 6 months before, I knew nothing about TV, nothing about reality TV. I honestly couldn't have cared less. So, 2 things happened for me during this experience. The first was the human, romantic, and social experience. Like, you meet some guys, you're locked in together. It kind of reminded me of my past as an athlete. When you go on trips and all that, there's this energy, a group, a collective. It was so cool. Then I meet you, I develop these crazy feelings in such a short time without even seeing you. I ask you to go on a trip, I see you, you're incredible. So at that point, I've won it all. That's what I came for. I met an amazing girl, I'm feeling great. And I'm thinking, with this amazing girl, we have to keep going with the experience to really test ourselves, go to Morocco, see how things go. And then there's living together. There were 4 weeks, and damn, maybe if things go well, we'll get married or something. So, total euphoria, especially since I realize it's you, total euphoria. You say yes. And then a few hours later, well, actually, we're not leaving. When they tell me we're not going, there's this emotional side like, damn, that's a shame because I really wanted to keep going. But keep going with her because for me, she's the one. But hey, let's see. Let's test ourselves. Let's go. Let's see if we snore when we sleep and all that.
Snore.
Oh, what an absolute and terrible disaster this is.
Never.
Life, oh, it's just so good. And so right now, I'm honestly disappointed. But despite everything, I'm grateful because I met you. It's fantastic. The second point, or where I'm going with this, is that I actually didn't know the workshop and I'm discovering a new profession. I'm discovering another world where, as always, without revealing how things work, there's a collective effort to achieve a common goal where there are people with you, whether it's a guy, whether it's a billow who sells you stuff, everything that revolves around all that, filming, doing interviews, being in front of cameras, etc. It's something I really enjoyed. That is to say, I liked that world. And so I saw myself continuing because for me, it was just pure pleasure. I had won everything, a fantastic Anna. And without naming names, I worked with some guys during that period who were just amazing. I only had good times, only good relationships. We had a team that supported us, all the supervisors, candidates, etc. The Callies, the CIPs, and so on, just to name a few, are wonderful people. And so I wanted to continue. I wanted to stay with those people. I wanted to keep going in this. Well, not in this profession. It's not even a job when you leave what you do.
It didn't feel like we were actually working, that's it.
So yeah, I hit the jackpot and I thought maybe I could double down, keep going with Fantastic Anna, and do what I love, discover this profession. Because what we did was on a TV set, but if we had been in Morocco, if we had been outside, honestly, you and me, it would have been something incredible on screen, for sure. What they did was great, but with such chemistry, such understanding, and all that, it would have been insane. So when they told me we weren't going, luckily I knew you, so it was a double blow. Otherwise, but yeah, I was disappointed, but luckily you were there. In fact, let me say it, you were there for me, and it was fantastic, and I thank you for that.
But
But no, that's it. That's how it was. Actually, maybe we missed out on something amazing, especially when you see the result of what came out of it. But well, it has to be said. There are more couples who are together now, so maybe that's why. But I think it's a shame.
that's true.
That's what I think. And you?
Well, actually, kind of like you. We're in that moment where you're euphoric, you're happy, and then you get some bad news, in quotes. So there's the disappointment of realizing that, yes, we're not continuing. I was already picturing myself marrying you, and I was in that mindset. So it's harder to just let it go like that. But yeah, it's that little bit of disappointment. And at the same time, the first thing I said was, can I go see him right away then, since we're leaving? Like, can I go find him? I just wanted to come find you. So yeah, there was that disappointment of not seeing the experience through to the end and thinking, we're going to talk.
About our previous conversation that we had outside. I sincerely hope that you will carefully consider and put things into their proper context, not just.
So I had this little bit of disappointment, but at the same time, there was this incredible sense of recognition, like saying, I came here, I came looking for the man of my life, and I found him. From that point on, well, hold on, we're going to start our life together now, and then after that, we met up right away. You see, we didn't wait at all. A few hours later, we were together again, and I thought, wow, it's so much better to see you without the cameras, without the microphones, without anything, because we could just be ourselves right from the start.
And I distinctly remember the significant difference. You looked so incredibly handsome, and I myself was in a sleek black suit.
That's right.
You were in a gorgeous dress and everything, and then we met up again just a few hours later. I remember I was back in my sneakers, and you were, and there we were, meeting up somewhere without all that stuff, and that's when we were really in real life, actually.
It's
So yeah, I remember it was.
pretty funny. And so our first real date was the next day. You told me it was on the boat. I went, we got engaged, and we said, okay, now we're back to real life.
Just to clarify for all the lovely ladies out there, we did indeed do a lot of other things after that, but
We are going to discuss.
we're in a place where there was nothing, absolutely nothing. I can't even tell you where we were, and the only safe place within 10 kilometers, since we didn't have a car or anything, was the McDonald's. So that's where we ended up going.
I
Still invited her?
Yeah, you did. And even McDonald's, everyone goes there, but it was way better,
What did you get? I think about it, don't have.
No, I'm actually going to be your ex very soon.
At the very first one, that is absolutely it. All right, thank you so much. I have just received a message there right now.
I don't remember what I got, but it was funny. After my movie, it was cute. We were still getting to know each other, but it felt like we'd known each other for 20 years.
We spent so much quality time together. Honestly, you would never typically spend that much time truly getting to know someone in real life even.
If you spend that many hours together in real life, you wouldn't dig into the topics we dove into right away. So you end up knowing all of the person's desires, all their weaknesses, their life, everything they love, their vulnerabilities. You know everything about them. It's true, we had a pretty strong connection, all of that.
Concept?
Please, just say it now then.
Let us know in the comments if you'd like to try out this kind of meeting, this kind of connection, meaning spending a lot of time talking with someone without seeing them and getting involved just based on those connections. So let us know in the comments.
It's really funny to try out in real life, and then we flew off to Paris. After that, we came back home and he stayed with me for a bit before leaving again, because of course I picked the only guy who didn't live in the Ile-de-France region. Like, all the other guys lived maybe half an hour from me, but I went for the one who lives really far away. Perfect way to start a relationship.
I said, this guy, he really went out of his way to find someone far away.
So
there must be something special about it. Yeah, discovering Parisian life. I was already working in Paris at my previous job when I was just starting out as a manager. I was the sales manager for a company that worked with doctors, so I knew Paris, but only for work. And I remember you showed me Paris, you showed me beautiful places, you introduced me to so many things. We went to a show, like we did something special. It was really, really nice. And after that Parisian discovery, we took our first trip together.
that's true, you joined me. I mentioned it in the videos.
Yeah.
I told you that since we were planning to see the experience through to the end, I mentioned during our time living together that I would have to be away for a while because I had a work trip to New York, and I asked if you could come with me. In the videos, you told me, well, I'm supposed to open a clinic, but I'll see what I can do. And in the end, it's true that you joined me in New York.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
It was great. Plus, we had
A chance there, Christmas season.
And so
Many beautiful memories. I can still see you in front of that Christmas tree at the Empire State Building. Just amazing. And we did a lot of sightseeing too. I also remember when we went to Central Park.
Now, for me, it's truly the wonderful gift that you so thoughtfully gave to me.
It was really, really quite cool. Super incredibly cool. Guys, seriously, take your amazing girlfriend to an exciting NBA game if you are currently in the United States of America, and you will see and understand right away, I promise you.
And a nice little restaurant before that, very well known.
I can't remember. It was fantastic. So we had fries, burgers, all sorts of stuff, and we did some taste tests to figure out where you were. Yeah, that's how it was back then. Crazy thing. So it was really awesome. It was an amazing memory. Thank you for inviting me, by the way. It was incredible, of course.
It would have been a shame to miss all that.
We
Enjoyed it.
too much. We
Kept going afterwards. He really joined me on my business trips, this secret side of my business trips.
afterwards.
So we kept planning trips together. We did a bunch of honeymoons just to be sure.
You see, we didn't have our honeymoon at the time.
20
We are,
left after Dubai.
yeah, fantastic.
So
You know, I had absolutely no idea about Dubai. I barely knew anything about it because when you don't know a place, you might have a certain image, but it's actually a totally biased image. The quality of life is incredible. The people are so kind. The safety is fantastic. I discovered places and restaurants that were absolutely wonderful. You took me to places where we had amazing, incredible sushi. Honestly, it was just great.
places we worked at Nodados.
Just so you know, Nodados, well, let's give them a little promo. It's a place where you eat grilled meat like that, and there's
Skewers on.
skewers. They give you half a chicken grilled just the way you like it, with fruit and everything. It's fantastic. Go eat at Nodados. It's absolutely insane. Okay, we're not sponsored, but honestly,
We could be.
yeah, totally. And we ate there 4 or 5 times in 1 week.
Incredible, but yes. And in between all these numerous trips, we also had to constantly deal with a long distance relationship. So
You.
was after you were in a long distance relationship, right?
Yes, exactly. That's right. A long distance relationship. Actually, we really had to make it work no matter what.
With
A lot of things. My job at the time, I was working in clinics all over the region, and you had your own commitments, your family, and so on. At first, we could manage a bit, going between Clermont, Paris, etc. We could do everything. But things quickly got complicated, really quickly. Because, well, Aquababe came along, and that changed everything. We had to keep things anonymous, meaning we couldn't talk about our relationship, couldn't post about it on social media, and couldn't be seen together in public. So basically, we were in a situation where we had to live out a relationship, on top of that, a long distance one, while keeping Aquababe a secret. So we could only see each other in Paris, And technically, we should have stayed inside the apartment, but honestly, we did go out a bit. Otherwise, it just wouldn't have been possible to build something together. So, yeah, that period ended up being pretty long, but it was also really resilient because we learned so much about each other, learned to connect in different ways, since we weren't always together. In a way, the long distance thing recreated that little spark. Of course, it wasn't always perfect. We would have liked to see each other more, but life just got in the way, and we couldn't do everything we wanted. But still, you have to admit it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, because a few months ago, or actually not even months, just a few weeks ago, I really wanted to see you, and a few weeks ago, you finally came here.
Yes.
Full time, yes, quitting everything to come to Paris. You have to be a little crazy, honestly. But it's still really cool. It's another stage of life. And I wonder if we had lived through it, how would we have done it if we had gone through the whole experience? Because then we would have had a life together, we would have gotten married, I'm sure we would have said yes to each other. But then what would we have done after that?
Well, I think we would have taken a more drastic step. I think
You see, like, did you deprive me or not of our landline there?
as a married couple, we should be living in the same house, I think. Do you think so? Yes.
So we're going to go to City Hall right after this to lock it all down, just to be sure.
So as a result, no, we would have taken, well, I think I would have quit my job earlier. That's it. I think we both resigned, you see? I think in the end, that was kind of the issue, the professional aspect.
You would have had to.
Put up with me 24/7 even sooner. Well, it's going fine.
We even took another trip afterwards. We
Went to Santorini. Fantastic. Fantastic. Fantastic.
It was amazing.
I highly recommend it to all romantic lovers. Guys, please take your beloved sweetheart to the absolutely breathtaking Santorini. It's truly unforgettable. Oh,
We've made it far.
yeah, well, great. Fantastic views, the turquoise sea. We ate it all up. Anyway, just so you know, all we do when we travel is eat, and we try to pretend we're going for a walk. So we walk. Well, sometimes we really do walk a lot, like we'll do 10 kilometers and all. But we walk like pigs, and then we go for a walk just to try to keep in shape. But in the end,
Still, you really have a super strict lifestyle. You're a very athletic person. You really take care of yourself and all that. And every time we're together, we're like, I need to do this while we're here because there's not a restaurant waiting for us. Okay, let's explain. But first, I'm just going to go back to something I wrote down in my notebook. Yes. And I just want you to tell me, up to now, have I kept my promise? So, Stan, where are you in all these dates? No, in my first notebook. See,
that's where you put the most heart into it. We didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about that. So,
girls, what I have in my hand, for those listening and not watching, that's too bad for you. I have a little letter here that says the one and only on it. One day I arrived in one of the capsules and this was sitting on the table with a gift, a beautiful bracelet, which unfortunately broke. He keeps making me bracelets, it's fine. So the one you're wearing now? So the one I'm wearing now? I always have one of your bracelets. I know you tease me that I don't wear them all, but I can't wear all of them at once. And I found this, and I think all women will understand the emotional security he gave me. I'm going to read it. Does it still smell? No, that's a shame. Yes. You wrote baby for me because it's true that very quickly, right from the start, I can't really say how long it took. Very early on in the videos, I said something as a joke. I said, let's go, baby. And so you thought I was calling you baby?
but yeah, I think you're putting me on the spot, man.
That's so cute. And so we started calling each other baby every time we met up in the videos. It's so cute. That's why it's written like that, just to clarify. Baby, I often think back to the first time I heard your voice. Every moment spent with you has been magical and unique. I can't wait to build our future together. I kiss you tenderly. It's so beautiful. Can you imagine you walk into a capsule and that's what made everything happen? You wrote the one and only? I don't know if you realize how incredible it is for a woman to feel chosen like that. Anyway, that's not what I was looking for, but I saw it and I think it's so cute. From the very first dates, it was written cuddles plus 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 because you told me it was one of those absolutely essential things that I had to cuddle you as of June 14th. Did I keep my promise or not?
Well, it is true that there is definitely a certain consistency. However, we could always work on improving it for better results. So really, compared to all the commitments you made, both written and spoken,
I give you cuddles every night, like all the time.
If we could add an extra 15 minutes, 15 minutes.
You always fall asleep, man.
No, not at all.
You fall asleep in 5 minutes with me, I can't do that.
It's true. All I do is make you sleep. It's a nightmare.
So, according to scientists?
It's kind of like a bite. It's not a bad thing.
According to scientists, it's actually been proven that when you fall asleep easily and quickly next to someone, it's because you love them and you feel
There you go.
safe.
It's secure.
I don't understand how you feel safe with me, but that's really good news because you give me plenty of proof.
Given the documentaries about the Earth that you watch, it's true that I probably shouldn't feel so at ease.
Anyway, I think we've pretty much covered everything in this first podcast to explain a bit about what we experienced during and after the experiment. And I really can't wait to see you for the next one, because next time we have an incredible guest, a participant from Love is Blind, who I think really made an impression. She was the very first girl I spoke to during the experience, so it really stuck with me. We're going to have Kim on the next podcast.
It's going to be amazing.
That's it.
She's a woman who has a lot to say, and she'll be able to show and reveal her true self. You'll see, this podcast is going to be something else. Get ready. It's going to be great. It's going to be a real showstopper. So don't hesitate to follow us. Don't hesitate to like and share. We're really going to explore all the themes of love, seduction, and so many other things. And we'll truly be eager to respond to what you share with us. Your comments, your reactions. We really want to make this podcast interactive.
I'm really looking forward to what's next.
Yes, me too.
And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast to get all the upcoming episodes, which will be released soon. So we wish you a good day, a good afternoon, or a good evening, depending on when you're listening to this podcast. See you soon.